the Rage Ring, and the charismatic autobiography. The Rage Ring infuriates enemies at the start of battle, making them attack relentlessly and do a bit more damage. And the charismatic autobiography changes what is normally a soft cap of 1 enemy targeting you at a time to a soft cap of 3 enemies targeting you at a time. Equipping both of these accessories results in the absolute hardest AI possible without mods, demonstrated here by this very accurately titled YouTube video. But if I'm going to be doing a challenge run, I may as well go all the way. No upgrades, not a single one from any of the wheels. No weapons, I go into every fight with just my fists. No gear, this third slot's empty the whole run. And no healing mid-fight, every hit counts. With these restrictions on top of the Rage Ring and autobiography, I'm pushing Yakuza 0 to borderline insane levels of difficulty. I'm sure a lot of it's possible, but every story fight? I don't know, all I know is I won't be getting any mercy in this playthrough. Also, this run will be done on hard and not legend because I'm going to be dying a lot and I don't want to get flashbanged by the Sega logo every time I reload. Also, reloading fucks with the volume mixer for some reason? I don't know, checkpoints make the run more interesting anyway. Hard is hard enough. Let's begin. Alright, here's a fresh save file at the start of the game. I modded my inventory with Cheat Engine to give myself the Rage Ring and the autobiography, along with an extra thing or two, which I'll explain in a bit. Don't worry, they're not going to mess with anything. But first, did you know that you can't die in the tutorial fight? I learned that in my first playthrough, because I did 2 test runs before this run you're watching now. The first run I made it about halfway through the game just to see if it worked, and the second run I played all the way to the end, asterisk. I learned a lot of strategies and how to make the run a little less painful. I also learned that it's worth it to cheat in 2 more things other than the accessories. First off is infinite stamina and sparks to restore full health and max heat. Don't worry, I'm only allowing myself to use them when I could reasonably go to a restaurant or convenience store to get heals. Basically, if I'm in the overworld where I can sprint and not punch, I'm allowed to heal. I'm pretty much always going to pop one before any significant story sequence so I can be fully prepared. The second item I gave myself is an infinite ammo golden rifle. This exists solely to blast away any random encounters I run into. This challenge is about the story fights. Street fights are just a nuisance. I mentioned that I did 2 other playthroughs. The second one, I got to the end of the game, but not unscathed. There were 3 fights that I could not complete on my second playthrough. It's important to say that I could not complete them because that's just me. There are some real gamers out there. Those of you who've played through the game before, which I'm assuming is most of you, I want you to try to guess the 3 story fights I couldn't beat with these restrictions. There's a lot of fights, and I wonder if anybody can guess the exact 3. Also, one more thing, if you ever see the gameplay speed up out of nowhere, I'm using a speed hack to get through cutscenes and stuff, so you might occasionally see a heat action in 3 times speed or something like that. This isn't going to mess with the gameplay at all, I'm just doing it because there's a decent amount of unskippable cutscenes, you gotta walk across the overworld quite a bit, the 80th time you see the same heat action, it kinda gets a little old. Speaking of heat actions, here's the heat action tutorial. A little bit of strategy for you. Heat actions can end one of 2 ways. Either the camera does a sudden snap back to the gameplay like this, or it does the slow zooming out camera movement. We really want the second one. It puts enemies a set distance from us and also spawns us in a bit earlier than them. These are precious seconds we can use to pick up a weapon, find a better position. I couldn't figure out if there's a guaranteed way to get one or the other, but heat actions are going to be vital for damage anyway, so you'll be seeing them a lot. Alright, tutorial's done. Time to get into the real stuff. Oh no, Bacchus is here, and he's making us do the upgrade tutorial. Oh good heavens, this run is fucked from the get-go. No, I'm just kidding, you can back out. Kuze still thinks he's really hot shit at this point in the story, and we're about to get some really important fighting techniques from this guy. It's time for Rush Style, and more importantly, Rush Cheese. Rush Cheese is performed by using Rush 1-2 over and over and over again. Against enemies who don't get knocked down by it, this is an infinite loop. They'll get stunned at some point, but just keep doing it and it'll pick back up. Against fights with multiple people, chances are someone in the fight is a stronger, more sturdy enemy. Beating all the weak ones until there's just one sturdy guy left is a great way to guarantee victory through safe Rush Cheese. Time for the first real group fight. Fun fact, enemies holding weapons can't get mad. This is actually kind of a bad thing, because that anger animation is a free couple seconds to do whatever we want, like grab a weapon. As you might have expected, two-handed weapons are going to be a godsend in this run. They have massive hitboxes, knock people down, and build serious heat. The final finisher in Brawler is so satisfying. I make sure to finish the first floor with some heat left over, because there's a certain someone on the second floor who I want to be ready for. it's time to introduce you to the worst enemy type in the entire run. Mr. Maroon Suit here is a user of the Men in Black moveset type, or at least that's what I associated with. He has this really cool move I like to call MIB3. The 3-hit punch combo that, on the 3rd hit, causes a soft knockdown. This move starts up insanely fast, goes really far, and is absolutely the most annoying move to fight against. Trying to use a 2-handed weapon, MIB3 knocks you down and wall bounces you. And he'll do it again as soon as you stand up. Taking care of these fucks is often priority number 1 in most fights. Good lord, are they a nuisance. And now, time for the first big one. If this was one of your 3, I don't blame you. But... It's time for Kuze, and sorry to have a letdown after the Dojima fight, but he's vulnerable to rush cheese, so I'm just going to take this time to talk about some strategy and stuff you may have seen in the long battle. First and most important of which is the checkpoint. After going outside, I can try again right from the door, fully healed. Oh, and your heat is saved when you get a checkpoint. I do think this whole fight is doable on Legend difficulty without the checkpoint, but keep in mind that this is the start of the game. I'm pretty sure it's going to get harder. Brawler was the key to victory here. That first room had so many two-handed weapons. After a few swings, pop a heat action, get another weapon, and repeat. Brawler 1-2 has a really wide hitbox, which makes it great for slapping multiple dudes at a time. And if you get the chance to land a gut punch, you can put someone out of commission from the fight for a good 7 seconds or so. Really nice for making groups of 2 or 3 more manageable. Speaking of groups, you might find this surprising, but groups of 2 to 5-ish people can actually be way harder than something like that first room. Not at the start when the rage ring is active, because then everyone attacks at once, but that effect wears off after a certain amount of time, or if you get knocked down. The charismatic autobiography is where things get interesting. Usually the game has whatever enemy is closest be in attack mode. If you get far enough away, the game swaps the aggro to whoever is closest, and you can manipulate this to have the ideal people targeting you. If there's enough people, enemies who aren't in attack mode can actually end up body blocking the ones that are. You might see me running back and forth to the edges of a room repeatedly. That's me waiting for the targeting to get me an opening. With 2 to 5-ish people, there's basically no abusing the targeting. The game doesn't get confused unless there's like 7+ people. Groups of 3 are particularly bad because they will all be on you all the time. No target switching to manipulate. Sorry, Kuze, beast time! And to absolutely no one's surprise, by far and away the most useful and effective style for this playthrough is of course going to be Beast. Beast weapon attacks can armor through small hits, and the third swing of the two-handed weapon combo is massive and causes a hard knockdown. The AoE hitboxes destroy groups, but what we care about most is the Beast 1-2. With a two-handed weapon, this is the single highest damage move Kiryu has, rivaling some heat moves in strength. This will be our bread and butter whenever we can get a two-hander. Here it is, killing 4 people at once. And here's the next required fight against this poor sap. It can be a good idea to quick swap to rush and grab the weapon again for the 1-2. And this is why I have the shotgun. Next group of dudes, there's a bike here, so they're toast. Ran into Shakedown, so I shot him. Then ran around the corner, found some MIBs, so I shot them. Then ran into Guess Who, the other Shakedown. Tried to beat him at 3 times speed using the shotgun. Didn't quite work. It's not like I need the money anyway, so... This is the kind of situation where I use my stamina and spark to be ready. Excuse me, boys, let me grab my win condition. And it's gone. Fuck Jun Oda. Alright, what's next? Oh yeah, Majima's in this game. Alright, let me just put these on real quick. Fun fact, Majima can't normally get the charismatic autobiography unless you use the Dragon and Tiger loot search thingy and get lucky on random chance. Time to talk to the random old guy who demands we follow him down to the riverside and poke him in the eyes 3 times. Followed by just fucking breaking his neck. I mean, he won't let me leave if I don't do it. Thug Style has some cool things with it. The 4th finisher can be dash cancelled, the neck snap is actually a decent counter, but the eye poke is a horrible move, and most Thug techniques aren't going to be useful outside of 1v1s. I'll mostly be using it as an escape tool thanks to its double dash. Of course, I gave him the gun too. Doing the story stuff, time for the next style. Now, Beast style is vital for Kiryu, so Slugger? Nah. Unless your enemy is walls, the best use for it is going to be as a heat action on command. This swing is going to end up being great. In a pinch, the 3rd follow-up Nunchucks thing is decent since it can be aimed, lasts a really long time, and has some armor, but this style is wall-hitting simulator. Oh good, a 4v1 in a tiny area. I can't wait to use my new style. MIB3 moment. MIB3 moment. This shit sucks. Fine, I'll use the one good move. More story stuff, gotta get across this bridge. And there it is. Dude in black just utterly decimates this buffoon in red, displaying the most overpowered finisher in RGG history. Red guy thinks 4th finisher is cool, what a fucking moron. You know what time it is. It's time for the windmill. This move, I don't understand who thought this would be a reasonable thing to put in a Yakuza moveset. This fucking thing has so many hits, connects with grounded opponents, and to top it all off, you can move wherever you want during it. I probably don't even need to explain more. It's honestly worth running away and attacking nothing. Whatever gets it started hardly matters. Sorry, buddy, I just learned how to dance. GG, shake my hand. After windmilling 3 more dudes very easily, thanks to whoever came in and decided to restock the furniture between the 2 fights, it's time to go outside and start a sequence of brand new suffering. Escort Makoto. And yeah, the Rage Ring and Autobiography absolutely make them attack her like crazy. You have to be extremely on point, attacking everyone to keep her safe, or pray that the enemies all target you and not her. The windmill takes time to get going, and you can't just run away to get it started. Now, no one likes this section, so I try to turn on 3 times speed to get it done faster, and wow, look at that! I got caught immediately by the first possible group. How fun. Oh, and it's a group of 3, that's just perfect. Hey, try to hit this quick time event real quick. Ah, damn, nice try. Time to fight more dudes. Final group. Thank God Makoto is not an issue here. With one good windmill, with one good windmill, we can end this section. Q, you got a worse look now, wow! And I hit the most important QTE in 3 times speed. Stop. Oh, hey, Bacchus. Alright, see ya. The chapters are continuing, and enemy health pools are starting to increase a little. Beast 1-2 still makes short of them, though. That's not a saying. Beast 1-2 still makes short work of them, though. Bump into the RGG mandatory group of 5 evil super good at something main side quest introduction cutscene. And then the tutorial for said main side quest. Stuff like this is why I have the 3 times speed up set up. I actually sped this up even more in post to get it out of the way. Gotta let this part play at least, though. You know, this part's the banger. Alright, back to the business, and then we can get back to the actual business. Oh no, Oda got fucked up. Just kidding, this is hilarious and good. Time for a fight in the Serena backlot. Check out this knife hitbox. Cool. So there are no 2-handed weapons in this backlot, and a group of 5 is quite a lot, especially with 1 boss enemy and 3 weapons. But there's a special technique I haven't shown off yet, one that will change the course of his whole run. Who needs 2-handed weapons when you have essence of the beast swing? This heat move does way more damage than most other heat moves and doles it out to 4 people at once. It is absolutely bonkers, and to top it off, you only need 1 heat bar to do it. Shit is cheap. Tough part is grabbing a downed enemy by the leg, and you also need 3 people around you, but that's not usually a problem. Any fight of 4 or more, I am absolutely looking for any beast swing opportunity. It is the best heat move Kiryu has. This is it. This is the first one. The first impossible fight from my second playthrough. This fight's insane. 5 dudes, 2 of them MIB, and we're in this tiny-ass cramped hallway. A group of 3 enemies, and backup is called in 2 minutes. Another group of 3, only 1 two-handed weapon, and backup is called in 1 minute. Another group of 3, one of them MIB, only 1 two-handed weapon, and backup is called in 30 seconds. A group of 5, one of them being a fat ass, and backup is called in 30 seconds. And a group of 7, 1 being an MIB, 1 being a fat ass. After each fight, you get a little cutscene of Kiryu punching a guy and then shoving people out of the way so he can move on to the next area. This is not the overworld. I cannot heal here. Despite being right next to all these shops, I will have to beat all of these fights, and this whole sequence is checkpointless. What exactly do I have to beat here? 26 enemies, and that's if I don't get backup called on me. And how are these enemies grouped? Well, here's a visual representation for you. Oh yeah, heat actions only do their max damage once per fight. Since this fight never technically ends, any heat move I use is nerfed from that point on. I can fight my way through these. I can make it to the group of 5, but beating them in 30 seconds is always a gamble. Even when I beat them, the problem, the issue, the reason this is so hard is the chip damage. It is unavoidable. All the single punches add up. All the little ticks I take while trying to beast 1-2. By the time I get to that final fight, I just don't have enough left in the tank. Some of these final guys even have a karate moveset that makes them stronger than generic dudes. There's plenty of two-handed weapons around, but using them is just asking for more chip damage, and I don't have anything more to give. But this video is not about my second playthrough. What if I said, fuck it? No more saving heat moves, no more worrying about what's coming later. I kill everything as fast as I can. I use everything at my disposal. I will defeat my pursuer. Man, this room is a blast to windmill in. Got it started. God, Thug can really suck. I guess I'm just kind of bad at it. Bosses are really easy for Majima. I could have sworn I remember a speedrun strat where you just loop a boss infinitely. I'm sure I'll remember eventually. Makoto Escort 2. The health of enemies keeps increasing. Just one required fight at the end of this Makoto section. Two dudes in Serena make sure to end with full heat. Ten total. 3 have knives, 2 have bats, 1 has a sword, and 1 has a taser. Only 3 enemies are unarmed. Knives are by far the most threatening. This guy goes first. There are no two-handed weapons in the Serena backlot. This fight is one of the toughest in the entire challenge. Big Kuzei fight in the street, but there's two-handed weapons here, so... Kuzei time. Little group of homeless hunters, nothing notable here. But next... That YouTube clip I showed made this look pretty impossible. Was this one of the three you picked? A good choice. However... Back to Majima. That guy has a gun. You mind if I see that for a second? Time for Styx 1v1s. I'm on the cusp of remembering the Majima Infinite, but I just can't remember how to loop it. Oh well, these guys are windmill fodder anyway. Finally, Nishitani got me to remember the Infinite. After the full windmill, go Slugger and wait for them to be practically standing. Then, heat action. The swing always puts the enemy in the agony state, giving you enough time to get another windmill started. It'll build up just enough heat for another Slugger swing. You can rinse and repeat this on anyone. As long as they don't have some sort of armored wake-up that lets them ignore the windmill hits that keep them on the ground. Bosses are now a complete joke to Majima. The next story sequence, though, is no joke.
Majima Goro さんですね。
せやったらなんやねん。
セラの親父はあなたを殺さずに事を収めたいと思っています。
Just a little note, Majima has no group heat actions by default. You can learn some and there are upgrades that give him plenty, but if you're power scaling base Majima here, there's not a single heat action available to us that can hurt more than one opponent. That might make some things tough, like for example, 3 dudes in the tiniest hallway, 4 dudes jumping out of the water, another 4 dudes jumping out of the water, 4 dudes dropping from the ceiling, another 4 dudes dropping from the ceiling, another 4 dudes dropping from the ceiling, a room of 6 sturdy dudes, and a tiny room of 8 dudes. I'm not Kiryu. I can't just pick up a two-hander and go beast one to him. I can't just grab someone by the leg and heat action 4 people at once for 1 bar. Sure, the windmill is fantastic, but this is just a worse version of the same problem the Pursuer's long battle was dealing with. The chip damage just adds up, and by the time I get past the ceiling, fellas, I don't have the health to gamble on windmills not getting interrupted. Oh yeah, and the Pursuer's battle was 26 people in a row if you're assuming there's no backup. This long battle, 37 total enemies, and this is way further in the story, when enemy health, damage, and movesets have all gotten stronger. I can't even consistently make it to the room with the 6 sturdy dudes. There's just too many small groups. If all these guys were in one room together, I could windmill them all, no problem. But the way this is set up just whittles me down. There are even instant kills by kicking people into the water, but getting the heat for them gets you chipped down eventually. I started at the sturdy guys with full health as a test, and I still couldn't beat the final room. Not only could I not beat this on my second playthrough, I couldn't beat it on my third. So I finished my third playthrough, and then I came back. It's time to abuse the AI pathfinding as much as I can. That guy I just kicked through the door is going to be our bouncer. I have given him strict instructions to keep a line at the door, and I will take one individual in my office at a time when I'm good and ready. Just gotta wiggle one out of the clump, nice and easy, we have a volunteer. build 1 bar of heat with 4th finisher combo, and show him my aquarium. Who's next? The next group of 4. Final 4, same thing. Now I got nothing up my sleeve from here on. I'm windmilling till the cows come home. This room might actually be interesting. I don't even want to risk it. I'm solo windmilling this guy. This guy with a throwing knife has to die. And with that, the second of the 3 fights I initially failed is defeated. This next part isn't a walk in the park either. A 1v1 against a boss enemy. Oh boy, Sarah. car sequence isn't affected by the ring or autobiography. If this were on Legend, you'd have to do it again every time you died on this fight. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this is a Makoto mission. This is a surprisingly hard tiny room with no two-handed weapons. By this point I really started using Reverse Brawler 1-2, which gives you an insanely long stagger and crumple animation. Basically as effective as a gut punch for getting someone out of commission and way faster. And finally, the homie is here. Having an AI partner is a massive help. The enemies can target him too, giving me so much more breathing room. Check out Nishiki. That's right, motherfuckers. He uses the MIB moveset, which means I've got an MIB3 user on my team now. God, it feels satisfying to see MIB3 hit the enemies for once. Tachibana bounce. Get him, Tachibana! Back to Majima again. Man, these health bars keep getting bigger. Another boss fight. Another boss fight. Oh, hey.
さっさとどかんかいボケが
When it gets down to just a few. We're coming up on the end of things.
Kuze.
Kuze is not fucking around anymore. He does half my health in one combo. He puts on super armor whenever he wants. People always say, how many times do you have to teach this lesson, old man? Really, I'm the one who's been getting schooled this whole run. After the Dojima family, he taught me the true value of rush cheese against a single opponent. After defeating my pursuers, he showed me the calm after the storm. After the Serena 1v10, he made me feel unbeatable as long as I had a two-handed weapon. And with Tachibana's help, he proved how valuable a partner could be. But now that I'm alone, the final lesson I can learn from this old man is how to be lame as fuck. Only one sequence left. Time to finish this. We need to get out of this area as soon as possible. There are multiple guns and a guy chucking grenades. Fortunately, once chair guy is down right here, there is nothing stopping us from just running up and getting on the boat. and now we're on our own. Truly poetic that the final fight is a group of 3. I've got infinite two-handed weapons in this area. There's no tricks or gimmicks. I just have to fight and win. Three dudes with guns. Good thing I saved the 2 from the previous area. Sorry, Awano. I'm not sorry, Loudboy. Yeah, I genuinely couldn't beat Shibusawa on my second playthrough. But after everything I've gone through this time, after everything I've learned, I've got this. Here's an infinite loop for phase 1. Pick 'em up, rush combo, kick, heat action, kick, pick 'em up, repeat until it's done. I still took damage though because I messed up the loop. But down here, this second phase is where I got stuck. Shibusawa's weapon attacks are extremely unpredictable. He has permanent hyper armor and a single hit from him does a serious chunk of damage. So what if he didn't have any weapons? Give me a sec, I'm gonna do some spring cleaning. Now I can fight. In phase 3, I don't even know most of the moves he has in phase 3. I don't have any weapons to use here or anything else. But I know one thing I'm good at, and I'm gonna keep doing it. I actually had this happen. I failed the final QT and had to do the whole fight again. But I did. Alright, I'm done. I did it. The entirety of Yakuza 0's story, beaten with all of these restrictions. This was extremely challenging, but so satisfying knowing I beat every story fight. I honestly thought the Rage Ring and Charismatic Autobiography would have made at least some fights impossible, but really these extra restrictions are what made this insane. No healing is kind of necessary to make a run actually interesting, but no upgrades? God damn, you really gotta work hard with those default movesets. That default heat gain, those tiny health bars, is no joke. This was genuinely a really fun way to experience this game again. If you're looking for a way to spice up another playthrough, I'd say this is a great challenge in some areas. The first Dojima battle, the first Serena backlot fight, there's some really fun fights, but on the other hand, defeating pursuers? Oh my god. The Serena 1v10, the Den of Desires? Don't be fooled by this video being my successful attempts. These took me so long. If there's any fight you want to see in full, I'll be uploading a giant video of every fight unedited soon. That closes out the video. Thanks a bunch for watching. I'm kind of hoping this video can push me over 1,000 subscribers. Maybe the algorithm will pick it up. Challenge videos do well, I think. And I mean, if it does good enough. There's more stuff in this game. There's so many side quests with extra fights, like the Michael Jackson zombie one. I bet that's pretty tough. There's even the entire real estate and cabaret quest lines. The enemies at the end of that are post-game level difficult, harder than any required story. And after it's all done, I could even try that.